Hello, my little artists. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day today. Again, if you're not, it's okay. It is okay. It can always get better. Always. I want to give gratitude. And I want you guys to do the same thing. Not only because we're heading into a new month, new chapter, new beginnings. You know the drill. But because if you think about it, we're going into the 10th month. With that being said, that means, and before we get to the holidays, before we get into that busy season, I really want you guys to sit down and think about what you're grateful for, before we even hit Thanksgiving, because let's be real. Ain't nobody waiting till Thanksgiving to be grateful, okay? You can be grateful every day, every minute, every second. However, a lot of us do not take the time to look at today and be like, what am I grateful for today? Me personally, I want to take the second and be grateful for anybody and everybody who has came across my life. That's a big one. That's a huge one, actually. Because honestly, I would not be here if it wasn't for each and every single one of them. Every person that has came in and out my life has been there for a different reason. And I know a lot of people like to say the saying different seasons, different reasons. And that is so true. But for me, the way I see it is, I think everyone, everything, it's a lesson or a blessing. And very few times do you actually get both in one. And then I realized, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking that. Because honestly, even if I did not see you as a blessing in that moment, you were both a lesson and a blessing. Because I would have never grown to be the person who I am today if it wasn't for your presence one way or another. And everyone has been a blessing and a lesson. Both in one. Duality. Like good and bad. If you want to use those terms and labels. It's up to you. But nonetheless, they have been both. Everyone who's been a part of my life, who's left my life, has been both. And I am so honored, so blessed, so grateful. I honestly, if I could write each person who I've come across in my life, if I could write them a thank you letter, I would. However, we ain't got time for that. So this would be the thank you letter to everyone who's been in and out my life. And honestly, like I said, I would have not gotten to where I am today if it wasn't for each and every single one of you. Whether if that was for a short time, a long time, a quick high and by time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the length of the time or the amount of impact you had in my life. The fact that you even came into my circle and you came into my space and you came into my time, that in itself was a blessing. Thank you. Most importantly, I want to give gratitude, grace, and all the love that I can to myself. Because some of those lessons were not easy to learn, and they probably took me a little bit longer than they should have. But time is not linear. So with that being said, it happened when it was supposed to happen, how it happened. It doesn't matter how good, how ugly, or how it happened. It doesn't matter. The point is that I'm giving myself that gratitude, because if it wasn't for the lesson or the blessing in that moment, I would have never recognized me, for me. And I think a lot of the times we do get into this headspace that we think we know who we are, when in reality we don't. Unless if you sat down with yourself, gone through your shadow periods, you've done the inner healing, the inner work to truly find yourself, then you truly, truly know who you are. And that in itself is a hard pill to swallow when you think you know yourself and you don't. And sometimes when you are finding that new version of you, when you are finding who you are, it can be a very hazy moment because you don't know what's to be clear yet or what's clouding you. And until you truly, truly get to know you and who you are and what you stand for, then that right there is the most beautiful thing ever. Beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. And like I said, I would have not done this without each and every moving piece up until this point. And I know there's plenty more to come. I know there is. And I'm so excited to see what this next chapter has to hold in October. It means a lot to me. Personally for me, because I also decided to finally show my face. And that was so hard for me to do. And like I said, I want you guys to be a part of this as much as I want to be a part of you guys. Like, it took me years to get over my stage fright. Be some other, things that I'll be afraid to do for the first time. But I'm so grateful because had I not gotten to this point where I finally hit the record button, I finally hit, okay, you know what? It's about time. Like if I hadn't reached that point, I don't know how I would feel, like me hitting the record button that first day has drastically changed me. Drastically. Now, I don't care about the views at this moment. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, if you find me, you find me. If you don't, then see you on the flip side. You'll find me eventually. But it's so crazy how we don't stop and actually try the thing that we're afraid of. Maybe just a glimpse. Dip your toe in the water. Don't just deep dive. Put that toe in the water first. So for me, this was a huge stepping stone. It honestly has been the biggest blessing that has come to me so far. I can sit here and talk about it all day. However, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about gratitude. Be grateful, because some of us don't have the luxury others do. Some of us had to fight hell and back to get to where we are, or even to get out of a situation, friendship, and relationships, situationships, friendships, any type of ship you want to ship it. And it's not easy, some of us can pull plugs real quick. Some of us can disassociate real quick. Some of us can move on real quick. But then there's a few that can't. And you sit there and you try to wonder, why does this person not do X, Y, and Z? Why does this person not do this? But you gotta understand, we all have our own lane. We all have our own insecurities. We all have our own fears. So instead of judging people, you know, lend them a hand, even if it means just saying hi, hello, how are you, how's your day going. You know, you don't have to necessarily save everybody. You don't. That's not your job. We are here to save ourselves. That's our job. But we are also here to be grateful for the time being. With that being said, it doesn't matter the situation in the moment. How is it going? You know, it's just the fact that you need to show gratitude for what you have in the moment. And if you need help, then you need to start asking for help. And I understand asking for help is one of the hardest things to do, but you got to be grateful because you don't know when you'll run into somebody who's willing to actually help. You don't know. You know, life is easier said than done. But again, if you got a roof, doesn't matter what that roof looks like. You got something to put in your belly, you got something to drink, then be grateful, because some people don't even have that luxury. And if you can help someone at least get one of those luxuries, then you've been an angel in their life. Simply as that. So today, take time for yourself. Name 3 things that you are grateful for. Just 3. If you want to do more, do more. But I'm grateful for nature, always, forever. I'm grateful for me. And I'm grateful for everything else in between. The good, the not so good, the struggles in between. Yeah, I find beauty in every little thing. So, my little artist, again, name 3 things that you are grateful for. I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. And if you don't, change your mindset. Don't let them ruin your day. It's not worth it. It's your day. Take it back. Be grateful for it. You get this day one time only. Be grateful. Take it back. It's yours. Love you guys. Bye, my little artists.